Onclusive Clips, exploring the PR, comms and media monitoring questions of today.
My name is Zach Jenkins. I am here in our New York headquarters. I just in May celebrated my 12th year at Critical Mention / Onclusive. I am the general manager for North America Commercial. So anything revenue related, new business, renewals, upsells, cross sells, all the client facing fun stuff falls under me and my amazing team beneath me. A lot has changed, but a lot also hasn't. There was sort of the cord cutting wave, especially where, I feel like every couple of years people talk about the end of TV, and then there's a presidential or political election and there's the most money ever spent on campaign ads every single election cycle. So it's sort of this little bit of a love-hate relationship, but it's definitely become more fragmented. We're a long way, you'll hear PR people talk a lot about, when there was only 4 TV stations in the 60s and 70s and 80s, the landscape, just in the last 10 years has continued to expand. There's been a lot of disruption in terms of the alternative ways to consume video now. So while again, I might not be watching the local news on 6 o'clock on CBS, like people may have been 25 years ago, you're still catching the news content somewhere, whether it's on their website or on your phone or as part of Hulu or a different type of streaming app. So I think, the distribution methods of broadcast have changed a lot in the last decade, but I think consumption of the actual content has actually been pretty steady. That's another great question. And again, I think touches a little bit on sort of, again, how broadcast content is, there's been definitely a disruption in how it's distributed. And while, social media content and things going viral is obviously a huge brand and communications driver, the interesting thing is many of those segments, even if it's a TikTok video, it starts with a 10-second recording of an actual newscast. So while social may be, where a lot of this message is amplified, in so many cases, it's actually the local news and the boots on the ground where these stories are breaking. The source of that content is people creating memes and creating posts on what they've actually seen on TV. I think unquestionably, podcasts is probably the fastest growing media type right now. And something that is becoming increasingly important in the brand conversation overall. Again, a lot like influencers and social media, I think people develop really close relationships with the podcast that they connect with, and there's a level of trust, I think, in podcasting outlets that people might not have with more mainstream, type media outlets. So from a, brand connection and human connection standpoint, I think it's, it's an absolute imperative that PR people stay on top of it.